Who's that?
Who's who?
We've got a scary new enemy for the Doctor, possibly the scariest one yet.
I find them quite frightening, and they're a very clever concept because they basically are around us all the time. And when you look at them, you see one and you are terrified, but the minute that you turn away or stop looking, you've forgotten that you've seen it.
Amy, what do you remember?
I don't know.
In episode 1 of the last series, we've got Olivia Colman in the hospital just saying, silence will fall.
The universe is cracked. The Pandorica will open. Silence will fall.
In episode 1, actually, it's what the first monster ever says, silence will fall.
Silence, Doctor. Silence will fall.
It's great that the seed's been planted even then. And it just grows and grows and grows.
Why are you here?
We ran from the silence.
Present the silence.
There were cracks. Through some, we saw worlds and people. And through others, we saw silence.
And we had no idea that the silence were going to be such a huge thing when we were filming for last series.
Rory, listen to that.
What? All I can hear is silence.
And I did think that that was going to come to something. Just knowing Stephen Moffat's writing, you know, there's always some sort of payoff. But then, you know, you sort of forget about it as you get through the series. And now it's come back with a vengeance.
It was just a creepy idea I had once. I think I've always been slightly haunted by the idea of memory and what if memories were missing from you. Memories, I mean, I was thinking how much of any given year I completely forget.
They edit themselves out of your memory as soon as you look away. The exact second you're not looking at them, you can't remember anything.
Sometimes you feel a bit sick, though, but not always.
So that's why you marked your skin?
Only way we'd know if we'd had an encounter.
His concept of a monster that you can't remember when you look away, but you remember what they've told you to do, was a sort of very psychological and very scary idea.
What are you? You can tell me, because I won't remember. You invaded us. You're everywhere.
Help me! Please! I can't see! Will you help me?
Are you armed?
This world is ours. We have ruled it since the wheel and the fire. We have no need of weapons.
I just think it's a really, really clever notion that you look away and you can't remember them, but they're influencing your behaviour. So it's like all of, you know, it really taps into the whole subliminal thing.
You straightened my bow tie because I planted the idea in your head while you were looking at the creature.
So they could do that to people. You could be doing stuff and not really knowing why you're doing it.
Like post-hypnotic suggestion.
Ruling the world with post-hypnotic suggestion. The idea is that the silence are around us all of the time. It's just we can't remember we've seen them. And they've existed with us in our society for generations.
So they're parasites, then? Super parasites, standing in the shadows of human history since the very beginning. We know they can influence human behaviour any way they want. If they've been doing that on a global scale for thousands of years...
Then what?
Then why did the human race suddenly decide to go to the moon?
Given that I'm suggesting that planet Earth has been invaded by this species for thousands of years, and people are going to say, why has the Doctor never noticed them before? And my answer is so good, he did. He just forgot.
You just saw an image of one of the creatures we're fighting. Describe it to me.
I can't.
No. Neither can I.
We went through a couple of ideas how we were going to visualise them. We thought at first that they might be sort of insectoid or kind of made up of lots of insects or something like that. We wanted to incorporate that kind of alien aspect, the UFO aspect of 1960s America. Stephen wanted to go with that kind of greys kind of idea, their sort of bulbous heads, you know, so that you can interconnect it. You could see that there was sort of ghost imagery of them have affected our culture. Stephen was always describing them as looking like they were from the Edward Munch paintings, the Scream paintings. You just wanted your skin to crawl at the moment that you saw them. I mean, for me, it's really exciting because this is the first monster that I've been able to sort of work from the floor up.
The monsters themselves are absolutely hideous. Big, bulbous-headed, massive creatures with horrible fingers.
We've got these cheeks that, like, blow out and stuff, and these big hands, big, scary hands. They are pretty terrifying to look at, which is great, because they're such a terrifying concept.
Stephen wrote that they would be wearing suits. It gave them this sort of funereal kind of look. They're sort of great space undertakers.
Obviously there's the head that goes on, which is quite heavy, and then you've got the gloves, well, the hands as well, so they're quite heavy as well, so it's a good workout when you're standing there. The head's the most uncomfortable part because you have to breathe through your nose and not through your mouth, which is a bit bizarre. You're not completely blind, you can see, but you mainly have to look down. We've always got someone that's guiding us around.
I've been away for a few days and everybody's like, wait till you see our man as the silence. I've seen the man, but I haven't seen him in the gear yet, so it should be interesting.
You can't remember the silence once you stop looking at them. So they could have been here from the beginning of time. We just wouldn't know it because our brains are being fried. But every time that you've had déjà vu, or you thought that you've remembered something but you can't quite remember the name of it or something like that, that could have been a moment where you've seen a silent and it's affected your mind, it's wiped your mind. So they're constantly being wiped from history by their own technique. And they've shaped the whole of history as well. This is the thing. They wipe your mind, but they've constantly been putting suggestions in there. They've shaped the entire course of mankind so that they would be able to go to the moon in 1969 and build a spacesuit so that they can use their spacesuit for their own nefarious needs.
There's a moment in episode 1 where River, you think, is going to die.
Oh, yeah. You want to take one?
Stand by. Action.
I see you.
Stephen just wanted a monster that was going to challenge, you know, all the other monsters to being the scariest monster the Doctor Who has ever done.
The silence could rival the Weeping Angels because it's how do you defeat a monster that you don't even know exists because you can't remember them when you look away? So it feels like an impossible task. So that's, raised the stakes.
In the first episode, we show the silent in the White House toilet killing Joy, which is a massive sort of set-piece moment for the episode.
Behind you. I mean, there is nothing.
We brought the scream into it when they kill somebody, and the whole killing effect was crucial to the silence, because it's all very well that you can't remember them and they're everywhere, but they needed to have a sort of superpower. They needed to have a kind of power that was scary and intimidating and utterly horrific, and you needed to be able to hate them because they are the enemy and they're the bad guys. It was all about the sort of choreography of it, sort of the idea that the silents always sort of borrow everything that they ever do. They borrow spacesuits, they get other people to do their bidding for them. The way that they kill, they borrow the sort of static energy around them, the electricity that just is in the light bulbs that's just around them, and they just draw it into them. And they put out their arm, they scream, and they point, and they fire that energy out in one giant bolt into the heart of the person they want to kill. And it just completely wipes them from the face of the earth. And we wanted that to be a horrific, exciting, and terrifying moment that would really hit home how really bad these people are. Because in episode 2, we killed a lot of them. It's like genocide, it's horrific.
My old fella didn't see that, did he? He gets ever so cross.
They have conquered and enslaved and manipulated a species for years. They do, I'm afraid, deserve it. The Doctor would never tolerate a situation like that.
Silence will fall.
This is going to go down in Doctor Who history. You know, there'll be silence later on in the series, I'm sure, or in future series, perhaps.
We have ruled your lives since your lives began. You should kill us all on sight.
What is the silence plan? I don't know.
The silence are very, very important, but what the silence are, or more importantly, what they represent, is a very, very much bigger deal. They are, let's say, more movement than species. Who knows? You may well get an opportunity to try and remember them again.